Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm excited to show you the iVolga low F whistle. Now I've had this whistle for a while. I got it from bigwhistle.co.uk. For those of you that don't know, if you're based in the UK, bigwhistle.co.uk is kind of a one-stop shop for whistles from all sorts of different makers. So you can browse a whole selection of low whistles from different whistle makers worldwide and high whistles from those makers as well, and it's all in one place, so it's really useful. Obviously as well, if you're based in the UK, it saves you paying import fees to get these whistles from elsewhere in the world, so it's a really useful place to shop if you're looking for worldwide whistles in the UK. So I've actually had this iVolga whistle for quite a while, but Big Whistle couldn't get any stock in at the time, so I've been waiting to make the review until they actually have some of these available, and now they do. So let's open this up and I'll show you everything I know about the iVolga low F whistle. So iVolga whistles come boxed. The boxes have the iVolga logo at the front, and if I open it up, you can see this spongy material to keep your whistles safe in transit and for storage. Now the whistles themselves are made from stabilized wood. I think the wood varies from time to time, so there's no information on what wood this is. But as you can see, it's got a nice sheen to its finish. The whistle itself is very lightweight, smells beautiful, wooden whistles always do. It has a nice shaped mouthpiece and top section here going into the tuning slide, and the tuning slide is actually also wood, but it is sort of oiled or greased at the top here. You will need to oil wooden whistles quite often to keep them in their best condition, and of course let them dry out completely before storing. Now you'll see a few brass sort of decorations on this whistle, I suppose, but we have one at the bottom here with the key of the whistle. Again, these help to sort of stabilize and balance the instrument as well, and they look great. At the top we also have a little brass mouthpiece section with the iVolga logo on the front embossed into the metal, but the fipple is actually a wooden block, curved windway as well, and at the front all the blade and the window here is also made from the same stabilized wood. Now these whistles generally are considered to have a medium volume, sort of an average level of chif. They're really, as I mentioned, they're really lightweight, which is great for anybody who struggles with heavier whistles. And the wood tends to give it this lovely, mellow, soft sound, which I really like. Being a medium volume whistle, it's only really recommended for small sessions rather than larger open sessions. But again, great for playing in smaller ensembles or playing at home, playing in a small session. Now the tuning slide, and I assume the entire piece has been finished with tongue oil. It's a diatonic instrument like all tin whistles are. Also, it is tunable, so again you can fine-tune to fit in with other instruments if you're playing in a group. And I'm pretty sure that's about as long as you can wait to hear it, right? So let's give it a play. So as you can hear from the sound sample, it does have a little bit of chiff to the voice and tone of this whistle. It isn't overly loud. I didn't need to move the position of my microphone, and for most whistles I usually do. But it's not an overly loud whistle. Personally, I would suggest that this is probably too quiet for playing with other musicians and in small sessions. I would definitely recommend louder whistles, and I have done in the past. I wouldn't say this is a very loud whistle at all. I'll do a tuning and a volume test shortly though, so we'll find out. But yeah, overall, it's really responsive. It doesn't take a lot of air at all to get to those high notes. There's no gasping for breath with this whistle. It's kind of very efficient with the air that you put in, and that is what I absolutely love about it. Again, if you're used to playing something like a saxophone or a trumpet, you might struggle, even bagpipes, you might struggle with this whistle because it is so efficient with its air. You don't need to put a lot of breath through it. But I really like how responsive it is and how little air it takes. It kind of really suits me. As far as low whistles go, the finger spacing on this, I could cover it with my finger pads, my fingertips, if I needed to. I tend to use a half piper's grip, as I say, piper's grip on the bottom and finger pads on the top. So it's a relatively easy stretch. It's not overly slippery. It's actually quite kind of sticky, so it's not going to fall out of your fingers. Although there is a little bit of resistance on the holes, so it's not as easy to sort of do slides, and certain ornaments feel like they get a little bit stuck, perhaps. So let's take a listen to how well it's tuned and how loud it actually is. So as you can see from the tuning test, this whistle is pretty well tuned throughout. It's hitting perfectly on every note up throughout the 2 octaves. The only note we have a problem with is the bell note, if you will, and that is the low F. It seems that the minimal amount of air that you need to put through this whistle to hit that bottom note leaves it a little flat. And if you push more air through the whistle to try and hit that low F perfectly in tune, you then end up pushing into the 2nd octave. Now I did play around with the tuning a little bit to try and make that bottom note perfectly on pitch, but obviously that was with the whistle head pushed right the way down, so anything else that I do is just going to flatten the notes and make the whistle a little bit lower pitched. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to settle for the fact that that low F is a tiny little bit flat. It's a little bit under where it should be. It's not perfect, but every single other note on this whistle, including the high Fs above that, sounds absolutely great. So let's go through some pros and cons. Firstly, the affordability of these whistles is insane. This whistle is, I think, £130 on the Big Whistle website at the moment. For a wooden whistle, that is ridiculously affordable. Wooden whistles often don't come at that sort of price, especially not for larger whistles like this. Even the high whistles as well, they're really reasonably priced, so that is definitely a plus point. It is really lightweight, which is great for anybody who struggles with heavier whistles. It's not slippery. It's an easy hole coverage for a low F whistle. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It is very responsive. It doesn't take a lot of breath to hit those high notes. It's not too loud, so it's definitely one you could play at home regularly, and you'd definitely be okay playing with a microphone with this whistle as well. Yeah, I really love how it looks, how it sounds. It's got a unique quality to its voice. It looks like a professional instrument. Yeah, it looks great. As for some of the cons for me on a wooden whistle, the extra level of care is a little bit of a downside. You just need to ensure that these are fully dried out and they're oiled from time to time. That's basically it, but they do take a little bit more maintenance than, say, a plastic whistle, which you can basically do anything with. You obviously need to be careful temperature-wise as well with wooden whistles because wood can expand and contract and things as well. So you just need to take a little more care over wooden whistles than other whistles. It's potentially a little sticky for slides. If you like to do sliding ornaments, you might have a little bit of resistance there and friction over the wooden holes. And one or two of these are a little larger, so if you did have very slim fingers, you might struggle to cover certain holes on this whistle. The tuning, as we mentioned earlier, was spot on, so that goes into the pros, except for that one bottom note. So if you have a problem with that bottom note hitting slightly under, then maybe this isn't a whistle for you. But with most whistles, there's usually one note somewhere that isn't 100% perfect. When you're playing a tune, mostly no one will notice. iVolga whistles are actually made in Russia, so they're shipped over specifically for Big Whistle. So I think that's the only place you can get these at the moment, unless you can get them direct somewhere, but I don't think you can. So if you're interested in iVolga whistles and you'd like to try one of these out, do head over to the Big Whistle website. I've linked it up here on the little I and in the description down below. I'll also put a link up on screen to the other iVolga whistles that I've played as well in a few moments' time. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and you found it helpful, please do hit the big thumbs up button down below. Leave me some comments, let me know what you thought, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like notifications every time I post new tutorials and reviews here on YouTube. Don't forget you can support my channel on Ko-fi and Patreon, or right here on YouTube using the super thanks button if you want to support my content and help me keep creating videos. But otherwise, just check out some of the other things I mentioned, the iVolga whistles, Big Whistle, and of course, the tune I was playing today is Celtic Hymn by the fantastic, well, he used to be Oral Axiom. I don't know what he's going by now, but I'll link the original up here on screen as well as the tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you later in the week for an exciting tutorial. Until then, happy whistling. Bye.